Hello again. I am Professor Wolfizzle, and today I want to tell you about something that happens often, more than we expect, and that is misunderstandings at work. Even when we try to be clear and careful, sometimes communication is not perfect, and small problems can appear which we have to solve patiently. This morning, I wake up feeling calm, but I already remember an email I received yesterday. The email is short, but something about it feels unclear. I read it again slowly, trying to understand what the person really means. The words are simple, but the meaning is not completely clear, and I notice that I am already thinking about possible solutions. Instead of guessing or worrying, I decide to plan my approach carefully. After breakfast, I prepare my workspace. I make sure my desk is organized, my notes are in front of me, and my computer is ready. I take a moment to breathe deeply and tell myself that calmness and patience are the best tools when dealing with any misunderstanding. I remind myself that mistakes happen and that communication is not always easy, even in our native language, and especially in English. Later in the morning, I join a video call with my colleague. We greet each other politely, and I notice a small tension in the conversation. The topic we need to discuss is the same task we worked on yesterday, but we clearly understood it differently. I listen carefully while my colleague explains their version of events, and I try not to interrupt. I nod, even though they cannot see me, and I repeat parts in my mind to make sure I understand them correctly. After they finish speaking, I begin to explain my perspective. I speak slowly and clearly using simple words and examples. I try not to sound defensive, even though I feel a little nervous, and I focus on being understood rather than being right. I say things like, I understand your point. I want to explain how I see it. And then I describe what I did and why I did it step by step, so there is no confusion. My colleague listens carefully and asks a few questions, which I answer calmly. Sometimes I repeat words in different ways to make sure the meaning is clear. For example, I say, I meant that the report should be finished by the end of the day, not by tomorrow morning. And then I give a short explanation about the reasons. I notice that after a few sentences, the tension in the conversation begins to disappear. We continue talking, clarifying small points, and slowly the misunderstanding becomes smaller and smaller. I realize that the problem was not about doing something wrong, but simply about interpreting the instructions differently. I feel relief because this could have escalated, but now it is a simple situation solved with patience and clear words. After the conversation, I take a short break. I make a cup of tea and sit by the window reflecting on what happened. I think about how often misunderstandings occur in daily life, not only at work, but in other situations too. And I remind myself that staying calm and listening carefully is always the best approach. I also notice that using English in real conversations helps me improve because I think about words, choose sentences carefully, and express myself in a practical context. In the afternoon, I go back to my desk and review the task again. I check the email one more time, and now everything is clear. I write a short note summarizing the conversation and the next steps, so that both my colleague and I have a record. I feel confident that we are now on the same page, and I appreciate the value of clear communication. As the day ends, I close my computer and stretch my arms. I think about the morning, about the conversation, and about what I learned. Misunderstandings are not failures. They're opportunities to listen better, explain better, and use language more carefully. I feel satisfied because I solved the problem without stress and without unnecessary conflict. Before I finish the day, I take a moment to relax and reflect. I think about how I can apply this lesson in other areas of life. When talking to friends, family, or even strangers, patience, clarity, and listening are always important. I feel calm because I know that language is not only a tool for communication, but also a way to understand people and situations more deeply. Now, as the evening light fades outside, I make a cup of tea and sit quietly. I remember the steps I took today. I prepared carefully, I listened, I explained clearly, and I followed up. Each step was small, but together they created a positive result. I realized that learning English, just like handling misunderstandings, is about small steps, patience, and practice every day. Thank you for listening. I am Professor Wolfizzle, and this was episode 26. I hope you can take these ideas into your own life, and I look forward to talking to you again very soon.